potential victims. The perpetrators are getting more bold, more ruthless, and more global by the day.
Our constituents in red and blue districts alike are being robbed of their hard-earned savings. We really need to have this discussion to combat financial fraud.
Well, in tonight's Common Ground segment, a bipartisan effort to protect Americans from financial fraud and cyber scams. Joining us, two members from the Stop Scams Caucus, Maryland Democratic Representative Jamie Raskin and Iowa Republican Representative Zach Nunn. Congressman, thanks for being here. Congressman Raskin, first to you, how big a deal is this and what are you trying to do?
I mean, $200 billion a year big, and there are target victim audiences out there. They're really going after older Americans, and the scams are online, they're in person, they're run by organized criminal groups in America and also some that are abroad, and they're just getting more and more sophisticated. So we want to make sure that the whole country's awake to it, and we've got our anti-scam caucus, and we're coming up with new legislative ideas all the time to try to turn this around.
Yeah, and Congressman Nunn, I mean, there's several pieces of legislation here. I mean, different kinds of attacking these scams. One of them is this TRAPS Act, Task Force for Recognizing and Averting Payment Scams, bipartisan legislation to protect Americans, especially seniors, from payment fraud by creating a coordinated federal task force dedicated to preventing scams. But there's other things like tax relief for victims, et cetera.
Yeah, and Bret, this is the reality right now. We are seeing an unprecedented amount of new scams appearing every single day that are targeting not just older Americans, but Americans of all stripes. Everyone has now become a target. Military veterans, young individuals who are on new apps. And the reality is here, we need to have a real task force to go after this. I'm proud to be part of the co-chair here, but we're also leading legislation, as you mentioned, on the TRAPS Act, to bring the whole weight of the federal government.
Yeah, Congressman Raskin, you mentioned the cost and just the dollar amount, and you just put it up there, the estimated cost of fraud in 2024, $195.9 billion with a B. Older adults at almost $82 billion. Senator Dick Durbin, Democrat from Illinois, had his own personal experience. Take a listen.
It happened to my wife. She got a call from our grandson, and she was supposed to send money quickly because he'd been in an auto accident. She called me and said, "What do you think I should do?" And I said, "Let me ask our grandson who's standing next to me whether he was in an auto accident." And the answer, obviously, was no. It was a scam.
Congressman Raskin, what do you tell people who are dealing with this? We get all the warnings,
yeah,
and you all are trying to pass legislation, but it's happening.
Well, I've got a constituent who lives in Silver Spring, Maryland, in my district in Montgomery County. She was called by someone who was impersonating someone with the FBI saying, "Oh, they're trying to steal your bank information. They're trying to take all the money out of your bank. So quickly, you've got to give me the number and give me your Social Security number and give me everything so we can save your money." She fell for it, and they ended up wiping out not just her bank savings, but also a lot of her investment savings in the stock market. And this is how I first really got involved in it with Zach and some of the other members, because there used to be the ability to deduct such a loss from your taxes, and that was removed. And we want to restore the taxpayer's ability to deduct a loss, because she basically got hit with a staggering tax liability because she wiped out all of her stock investments, and then she had to pay capital gains taxes on it, and she couldn't deduct the loss she had just undergone, although it was proven in court that, of course, it was a scam and a crime. So we've got legislation called tax relief for victims of scams and crimes and other major losses.
And Congressman Nunn, there's also this, obviously the complaints, the numbers, the dollars are all going up, and we're seeing artificial intelligence being one of the reasons that that's happening. Take a listen to this expert.
You can create a bunch of texts really quickly that have good grammar, and it seems like you don't have the bells going off in your head from them. The other big category is the sort of impersonation of people, whether that be through voice or video, and that's where you see the really harrowing stories of sort of like real-time fraud and deepfake stuff.
So you're warning to your constituents, don't believe everything, take your time, don't send money unless you feel it's real.
Bret, you're absolutely right. And the breadth and scope of this has really increased with the use of artificial intelligence mirrored by real actors behind this. There's the long dwell scam, something called pig butchering, where AI is enabling people to feel like they're in a real relationship with someone, maybe even a romantic relationship, and they need a little bit of help to come visit or to get out of a mortgage. And so they hand over their life savings to someone they truly believe is a real person, and then it's gone.
Yeah, Congressman, we're asking the last thing. I mean, you're a repeat common grounder, and there are some of both Democrats and Republicans who've been on this we've been doing it for a couple of years now. A lot of people focus on the battles and the partisanship. You all are obviously trying to do something together.
We are indeed. I mean, the scams are hitting 1 out of 5 Americans now. So likely somebody in your family has been hit by one of these scams. But it is great to be able to work together on this because we want an economy, we want a society, we want a country where people can have security in their business relationships. And it does obviously go back a long time in our country. That's why we have a Mail Fraud Act. That's why we got a Wire Fraud Act. So we can't pretend that it just started. But everybody has got to be vigilant because the scams are multiplying and proliferating every day.